Suffered last week against Tampa Bay. He's wearing an arch support in that left shoe today. He's wearing his sneaker one size bigger as well to create a little extra space. I don't know if there was anybody on this football team after the injury took place, including Brett Favre, that could have envisioned him starting here today after what happened a week ago.
And I thought he may miss a few games, possibly the remainder of the season, but just like Brett Favre, the competitor that he is, he wants to play.
Jim Mora told us earlier this week he expects Favre to play. He loves Brett Favre as a player. He's a throwback type, a winner, and had nothing but respect for what Favre has accomplished in his career. And Mike Sherman, record of 4-6 in his first year as a head coach in the NFL. He has coached at every level, a native of Northborough, Massachusetts. He told us this is his dream job. His family is comfortable here. He wants to keep the job. Danny Kite to kick it off. Packers have won the toss. Allen Rossum is deep, and we're underway from Lambeau. Rossum from the 5, trying to cut it to the outside. And Rossum looking for an angle. Allen Rossum down the sideline. And he's out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line. A 34-yard return for the former Eagle. And here is Brett Favre. It happened, the injury in the third quarter last week. Warren Sapp fell on it, a mid-foot sprain to the left foot. Now remember, 5 years ago, he suffered a severely sprained ankle against Minnesota. Nobody thought Favre would play the next week against Chicago. He threw 5 touchdowns against the Bears.
And that's just outstanding concentration, that he can just mentally get through the pain process and go out and start this week.
Packers open up in their base offense. Movement on the right side of the Indianapolis defensive line, left side of the offensive line for Green Bay. And the Packers are going to suffer a penalty.
False start. Number 76, offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Tom White, the veteran referee. Take a look at the Packers offense. Chad Clifton just picked up that penalty, and how important these offensive linemen are today because of the lack of mobility that Favre may suffer with. Backs and receivers, Amon Green remains in the starting lineup. Dorsey Levens not expected back this season because of the knee injury. Here's Favre on a rollout, throwing on the run, and William Henderson with a catch at the 40-yard line. Dwight Hollier combining with Cornelius Bennett. How about Favre rolling out on the first play from scrimmage?
And I think he wants to set the tempo right away to show Indianapolis that he is injured, but he's not injured, and he's going to let them know that he can roll out of the pocket from play 1. That plants a seed in the defensive line. Now they got to say, hey, it doesn't look like he's really hurt. Now what do? We wanted to set our rush for a pocket rusher. He's already opened it up on the first play.
7 yards on first down. Favre getting the instructions from the sidelines. You know, last week marked just the 3rd time in his 9 years in Green Bay that he had been forced out of a game with an injury.
It's amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
For the position he plays, that's unheard of. On 2nd and 8, Favre to throw it again. Fires. Wide open Schroeder into Indy territory and down at the 41. New set of downs for Green Bay to work with. That's an 18-yard connection. Take a look at the Indianapolis defense facing Favre here today on the defensive line. Ellis Johnson returns after missing 3 straight games because of a knee injury, so Josh Williams shifts over and plays left tackle. Linebackers, Cornelius Bennett is playing 200th start of his NFL career. And in the secondary, Poole, Belzer, Cota, and Jeff Burris, who had an interception last week in the victory over the Jets. And a 1st and 10 at the Colts 41. Antonio Freeman, the motion man. On the handoff, Amon Green gets the carry straight ahead. And he takes it for 4 yards, comes up shy of the 35. Ellis Johnson, first man to bring him down.
And it's so key for this offense to run the ball. Set the tone and the tempo right off the bat with Amon Green. Here's a guy who runs a 4.18 40, has tremendous speed, but still has the size and strength to take it outside the pocket. And they really need him because Dorsey Levens, it looks like, he may not come back for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, Sherman told us that if this team makes the playoffs, Levens may be available, but right now Green is the featured running back. Former Seattle Seahawks, Sherman was the offensive coordinator there last year under Holmgren and then brought him in a trade. Favre throwing, incomplete. Brett Favre was looking for Freeman, and it would have been a big gainer on 2nd down. It'll be 3rd and 6.
And one thing I've noticed already with Brett Favre is his mechanics are a little off. because his left foot is affecting him. That's his plant foot, but his push foot's his right foot. Here, keep an eye on his feet. Keep an eye on that foot movement right there. Watch his feet. His mechanics are never perfect, but he's leaning and almost making sure that he's using all arm instead of his legs. He's got to put his legs into it if he wants to be an efficient passer, but he's using his arm a lot, and here he's protecting his leg, protecting his foot right here. It's injured. He wants to make sure he doesn't get it stepped on, get it out of the way, make sure he protects it when he throws.
On a 3rd and 6, Bubba Franks, the tight end, the motion man. Here's Favre, passing it, fires, and too low for Freeman. Freeman was open for a moment, but Favre could not deliver. And the Packers face 4th down.
And I think this is going to be a problem for Brett Favre, his accuracy in this game until he settles down in the game, but this ball is low. This is a nice route by Antonio Freeman. Right there, he makes his break, he's open a step, but the ball is just too low for him to come up with.
Josh Bidwell, whose job may be in jeopardy. The Packers brought in Leo Aragus for a workout earlier this week, making a decision potentially on a new punter. Aragus, the former Raider. Bidwell in the air. Terrence Wilkins will not even get a chance. It is down just shy of the 6 by Rossum. So the Colts will be pinned back after the 31-yard punt. Brett Favre unsuccessful on his first drive.
Log on now for Southwest Airlines $99 or less internet specials, only at southwest.com.
You are now free to move about the country.
The new economy won't be like the old new economy. The new economy will have new ideas. Ideas like profitability. With powerful e-business solutions, the new economy will be about how well you run your e-business, not just how well you promote it. SAP.
Its ancestors knew the grit of the sand at Daytona, where a mile measured the length of your nerve. It is not meek. It is not humble. It is what happens when you take the soul of the past and meld it with the best of the new. Chrysler 300M, the most powerful V6 sports sedan in its class. Now during the Chrysler holiday sale, lease the 300M for $399 a month.
Monday, when it's time for Thanksgiving.
Pants, Dad, pants.
Be thankful you're not in Ray's family.
You want him up or down? What kind of party is this?
Then, when his car is stolen, it's Becker versus the insurance industry.
You pay premiums for years. I bet you I don't see a damn dime. You know, your heart's really racing.
An all-new Becker, right after an all-new Raymond, CBS Monday.
The rich history and tradition of Lambeau Field, just one of the many names. Vince Lombardi was a part of making this such a historical franchise. And the Indianapolis Colts dealing with weather conditions that they're not accustomed to. They usually play at home in the RCA Dome. And Manning on his first attempt loses the football. Peyton Manning forced to scoop it up, and it's a safety.
Nine, we talk about weather conditions right off the bat. The Colts are an indoor team when they play at home, obviously in the dome. Peyton Manning has to concentrate on holding on the football. Your hands are cold on the field. I was down there earlier. Right here, he just doesn't have a grip on the ball and it gets away from him. But great presence to find that ball and come up with it. Peyton Manning saves his team points in this situation. But right here, it's his hands. They're not warm, doesn't have a good grasp on the ball, and he just slips when he's bringing his hand back.
He saves his team 5 points to be exact, as Green Bay takes a 2-0 lead.
And it was interesting when we talked to their head coach Jim Moore. He said, hey, we don't talk about the weather. We don't want to make it a factor. And I think that's baloney. When I was a player, Joe Gibbs, we talked about the weather. We wanted to make sure we were prepared and make sure every player knew, prepare mentally for the game and for the conditions.
Hard to believe a team that has been as successful as Indianapolis this year, -8 in their turnover ratio. Indy has been able to force 13 turnovers in their 7 wins. They have forced 0 turnovers in their 3 losses. Jim Mora's team, a pivotal 23-15 victory over the Jets on Sunday night after building a 17-0 lead. But right now they're down on the scoreboard 2-0. first play from scrimmage for Indy, it's a safety.
And it's an uphill battle from here, obviously. Peyton Manning looking over the shots of the defense on the sidelines. Before he was talking to Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, he stays on the sidelines. Not a critical situation. He just wants to settle him down and say, hey, it's only 2 points, Peyton. Let's go out and let's run our offense.
See the stats, 10 games last year to this year. They had one more win and a short kickoff taken at the 40-yard line and accelerating to the 45, William Henderson. So the Packers will have tremendous field position to start out their second drive of the day. A 6-yard return after the short kick by Kite. 2-0, Green Bay leading Indy.
The all-new responsive Chrysler Sebring Performance Sedan. Proof that it's not the destination. It's the drive. Now, during the Chrysler Holiday Sale, lease the Sebring LX sedan for $259 a month.
Honey, put the game down now. Come on, let's go.
It's hard to tear yourself away from Circuit City's new entertainment zone. It's got an expanded selection of the hottest new digital technology, like lots of digital and 35mm cameras you can try out, a cool interactive video game department, the latest PC software and upgrades, plus exciting MP3 products and more.
Honey, don't make me come back there.
I gotta go.
Come see the all-new entertainment zone at Circuit City.
Trading online, huh? I do a bit of that myself, but I'm starting to get a little fed up. It turns out the cheap commission rate doesn't take effect till after 75 trades. What's with that? You know, I'd switch. What's the point? I mean, these online brokers, they're all the same. You know what I'm talking about?
Actually, I have no idea.
What?
Go to Ameritrade.com. Ameritrade. It's how you get somewhere on Wall Street.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. And by Chrysler, we're reinventing the passion for driving.
Green Bay with a 2-0 lead. Russell Maryland has been given credit for the safety. And the Packers now with a 1st and 10 at their own 46 on a pitch for Amon Green. He finds a hole and crosses midfield into Colts territory, brought down to the 48. It's a gain of 6. Ross Verba with a nice block up front for Green to work with.
The Green Bay Packers want to establish the run as much as possible to take pressure off of quarterback Brett Favre. Usually after a big turnover like this, in a situation where you have great field position, you try to go for the juggler. Don't be too surprised. Brett Favre tries to throw one down the field of play.
Favre told us yesterday, initially last week after the injury, he thought the foot was broken.
And he said it kind of scared him because he doesn't know he's never really been injured. It's been 8.5 years. That's a long time. That's an eternity in the NFL.
Play action on 2nd and 4. Favre fires, complete to Schroeder. And a first down for Green Bay. He's brought down at the 33 by Tyrone Poole. It's good for 14 yards through the air.
One thing about Bill Schroeder, 6'3", going against Tyrone Poole, 5'8". As soon as he makes his break, he's getting respect out of Tyrone Poole. As soon as he makes a stop and break, there's distance between them. When you've got that separation and the strength of Brett Favre's arm, all you have to do is turn, and the ball's going to be there.
And Schroeder has really developed over the years. You can go a couple of years back when Favre did not have the confidence in Schroeder. He does now. His 34th catch of the season. Franks in motion. And here's Favre. Play fake. Steps up, Favre, good protection, floats one incomplete. He was looking for Freeman on the crossing route, and Jeff Burris had the coverage.
One thing about Brett Favre, he likes to work the middle of the field. Antonio Freeman goes in motion, plants, goes across the field. As soon as he plants right here, just slants across the field. The ball's too far out for him to get, but they're working the middle of the field. They feel there's too much green area in the middle of the field not to take advantage of it. The size of the receivers on the outside, if they can get inside position on the cornerbacks, it should be an easy receive.
Did you get the sense, though, when we spoke with Freeman, he's not in love with this offense right now?
No, he wants the ball. He says, I do the dirty work. Get me the ball inside. I'll run the slants. I'll run the crossing routes. That's what I do best.
On a 2nd and 10 from the 33. Give it to Green. Running in between the tackles, and Green is brought down at the 29. A gain of 4. Bernard Holsey with the stop. Amon Green, despite being in his 3rd year in the NFL, still among the youngest players on this roster. Younger than most of the rookies.
And I know that feeling. My first year in the NFL, I was 20. I didn't turn 21 until November, halfway through the season. Same with Amon Green. He's 23 years old in his 3rd year. And I know what he's kind of going through, because you feel at that point that you almost know everything, but you don't know anything. But still, when you look at the rookies, you're younger than the rookies that are coming in.
Green told us he was shocked when he heard about the trade from Seattle to Green Bay. He thought he was going to be a Seahawk for a long period of time. On a 3 wide receiver set, 3rd and 6. Packers already have a 2-0 lead. Here's Favre in the pocket. Across the middle, Schroeder extending, losing the football at the last moment. Tony Blevins with the stop as Burris tried to scoop it up and take it. But it was whistled down. Will it be enough for the first down? No. A gain of 5, he needed 6.
And I said the receivers of Green Bay, they want to work the middle of the field and are crossing routes and slants. And here he's going to lean out for the first down. Just not enough. He's short of the first down. That's a good call, but nice job of Brett Favre getting rid of the ball under duress. The Colts blitzed on the play.
And the Packers are going to go for it on a 4th and 1. Ball spotted at the 24. Would have been a 42-yard field goal attempt. 3 in the backfield. Favre, handoff. First down. Amon Green. He does the dirty work out front. And Green Bay will move the chains. Well, the durability of Brett Favre, unquestioned. In fact, Antonio Freeman told us he is one of the most mentally and physically tough players at any position in the NFL. Forget about just being a quarterback. There's the current streaks. Favre 136. And look at the drop-off to Peyton Manning and Steve Berline.
6 years. That's 6 years of playing.
Wow. On a 1st and 10 for Green Bay at the 23. Packers taking advantage of good field position. Favre, plenty of time. Favre, little pump fake and then slides down. Mobility was not there. And he's brought down at the 29 by Bernard Whittington, who touched him up. A loss of 6 on first down.
Now this is a case of Brett Favre with the injury to the foot, because Brett Favre normally would sprint away from the rush and make a play down the field. Here he gets tremendous blocking by his offensive line up front. The Colts only rush free. 4, he's looking downfield, pump fake, trying to make something happen. He sees the rush coming. Smart move by Brett Favre. Just go ahead, take the loss, come back and play another play.
First sack of the season for Bernard Whittington. The injury, in addition to the weather, certainly going to hamper what Favre can do on the move. Normally one of the best scramblers in the NFL, one of the most creative QBs of all time. 4 receiver look, but they'll run it. Green, and gets it to the 25. He picks up 5, not quite to the original line of scrimmage. Ellis Johnson in on the stop, and it will be 3rd and 11.
And when you look at Amon Green, he's not very big, not very physical to look at, but he's still 217 pounds. In Seattle, he was really their short yardage guy and goal line guy, and he could hammer the ball in between the tackles. He's a very physical runner between the tackles.
Mike Holmgren lost confidence in him. There's no getting around it. He was a fumbler, and Holmgren just did not show the confidence in allowing Green to become more of a feature in the offense.
Well, lucky for him, Mike Sherman did.
3rd and 11. Out of the shotgun. They broke out the shotgun for the first time last week. Rollout. Favre throwing on the run and caught. Great grab by Schroeder and a late flag. Jeff Burris came in and laid out a hit. And it's working against Green Bay. A 15-yard pickup will be nullified.
Pass interference. Number 84. Offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Well, instead of getting inside the red zone, now Green Bay just has to think about field goal range.
Keep an eye on Bill Schroeder right here. What they want to do is establish separation. Here, he just pushes off and turns inside. And you can't do that. Once you're down the field, you can't push off like that to create an area to catch the football. But what a nice job of executing this play. Brett Favre is going to do a nice job of rolling to his right. He's going to have difficulty going the other way.
Schroeder made contact with the rookie David Macklin out of Penn State, 3rd-round pick. And it cost him. Now a 3rd and 21. Line of scrimmage is the 34. And this play never happens. Flags down again. So Tom White, busy man.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
Play clock went to 00. Poor execution by Mike Sherman's club in the early going. They lead at 2-0.
And that's poor execution all the way around by Green Bay offensively, to have back-to-back penalties and not execute when you get great field position. You've got to take advantage of every chance you get when you get good field position.
And now the field goal range becomes a major question. Line of scrimmage is the 39. They need yardage. Shotgun for Favre. Here's Favre in the pocket. Knocked up in the air. He was looking for Green. Incomplete. One of the problems with this offense for Green Bay right now, Ahman Green is not as accomplished a receiver as Dorsey Levens coming out of that backfield. Not that this one is his fault in particular.
No, because Ellis Johnson is right in his face. Now, that's a heck of a play by Ellis Johnson, the defensive tackle. He's been injured, had knee surgery, coming back, making his first start in the last couple of weeks. But that's reading a screen, staying with the back, and breaking on the ball for defensive tackle Ellis Johnson.
So circumstances have changed. They had a 42-yard field goal attempt if they wanted it earlier, but now Josh Bidwell boots it into the end zone and a touchback. Green Bay does nothing with their great field position because of penalties. 2-0. Packers in front.
Now you can learn how to say what's up in 36 different languages. Just visit Budweiser.com today and learn useful phrases like "Was ist los?" "Que pasa?" Instantly bond with your fellow man the world over.
Yo, telephone.
Hello?
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like a dozen mixed.
I highly recommend the cream-filled. 5 stars.
Well, now, if you like the cream-filled, you should try the eclairs, popular in France.
By the way, customers who bought eclairs also bought raspberry jelly donuts and bear claws.
Can I interest you in a book on donuts?
Amazon.com changed the way people shop.
I suppose you want these individually gift-wrapped?
HP technology makes it happen.
In my day, we only had glazed.
Its ancestors knew the grit of the sand at Daytona, where a mile measured the length of your nerve. It is not meek. It is not humble. It is what happens when you take the soul of the past and meld it with the best of the new. Chrysler 300M, the most powerful V6 sports sedan in its class. Now, during the Chrysler holiday sale, lease the 300M for $399 a month.
Why didn't this cop know before he shot and killed this African American that the man he killed was also a cop? 60 Minutes tonight.
That's a bad call.
Somebody better figure out how to run the ball. They were going to knock you in the mouth.
Green Bay 2, Indianapolis nothing. 6:05 to play in the first quarter from Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Packers defense coming up with the points so far for Green Bay. Colts second possession. Just one play from scrimmage. It was a safety and a handoff. Manning to James, trying to turn it upfield and did not get much. 1.5 yards, maybe 2. KD Williams with a stop. Peyton Manning told us earlier this week this is the first time he's ever been to Lambeau Field. In all his travels as a son of an NFL quarterback, never made it to Green Bay. And they're working out of the no huddle, something that was used so effectively in their victory over the Jets last week and earlier this season against the Oakland Raiders to start out. Manning dropping back, throwing, and Ken Dilger can't hold on. Manning put it to Dilger in stride in a matchup with KD Williams, and Dilger, one of the only members of the Colts ever to have made a trip to Lambeau Field.
But it was the preseason, so it was the warm part. But here's the catch. The Peyton Manning puts the ball right on the money. Ken Dilger needs to come up with this, but the mismatch they're looking for is against KD Williams, making his first start for the Green Bay Packers in stub linebacker, the strong linebacker position. Ex-Oakland Raider, started 8 games for the Raiders, but here's what you have. You've got 2 great tight ends in Indianapolis. Keep an eye on both of them, and Pollard and Dilger for the matchups.
Now a dime package for Green Bay. Indianapolis with a 3-receiver set. Shotgun on a 3rd and 9 for Manning. They are the best team in the NFL on 3rd down, converting them to first downs. Manning, moving pocket, Dilger with the catch, and short of a first down. Brought down at the 25 and a gain of 4. Todd McBride with the tackle, and the Colts will punt it.
Nice job by the Green Bay Packers defensive unit. Here, they're going to rush with their four, but they're going to drop back and cover. Peyton Manning wants to throw deep. Look at him. He's looking down the field to the center, to his left. Nothing open. Okay, drop it off to my safety valve. But a great tackle, one-on-one by Todd McBride in the open field on tight end Ken Dillon.
First opportunity for Hunter Smith. He's put up big numbers this season, averaging just under 47 yards per punt. Allen Rossum, dangerous return man. His longest so far this season, 43 yards. Catches cleanly at the 32. Stutter step, breaks one tackle. Dances his way now. And he's brought down at the 37. Philip Glover with the stop on special teams for Indy. A 5-yard return, 42-yard punt, and a 2-0 Green Bay lead in the first.
Looking to save more and spend less this holiday season? With the Chrysler Holiday Sale, you can do just that. Because now you can save over $2,300 when you buy a new 2001 Town & Country with 4.9% financing. Or choose a $299 lease on the award-winning 2001 Chrysler Voyager. So take advantage of the Chrysler Holiday Sale today for savings that let you spend more on a real holiday priority, yourself.
Coach, your love of everyday low prices is well known. Is it true you recently benched a linebacker for not shopping at Staples?
Yeah, I really did.
If a guy's thoughtless enough to spend too much on office supplies, then he doesn't belong on a team, does he?
Not really, no.
Shouldn't every player on your team know they should go to Staples to save money?
Well, it makes me mad because I coach that.
That overpay is finished, isn't he? He'll never, ever play again.
Ever. So the word ever is in there. Yeah.
Mr. Roberts called and wanted to take money out of his account.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I am ready to trade online.
Now, I said, you know, we can do that for you.
Wait a minute, Fidelity? Trading? You mean brokerage?
I told him, sure, just go to Power Street at Fidelity.com.
Fidelity.com, the site ranked highest in investor satisfaction by J.D. Power & Associates.
Sounds like everything I've been looking for.
Oh, and one more thing. When you're ready to try wireless trading, you let us know.
To invest, call, click, or visit Fidelity.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. And by FedEx, the official worldwide delivery service of the NFL.
Green Bay Packers at 4-6, a 20-15 loss to Tampa Bay last week. They couldn't build on their dramatic Minnesota victory from the week before on Monday night. Allen Rossum is in on offense. A fake to Rossum, they take it the other side. Amon Green. Twirled down at the 25. Some chicanery from the Green Bay offense. And the Colts were fooled, a 36-yard run.
And last week they ran the exact same play, but they handed it to Allen Rossum. He gained 16 yards. This set up this play. You hand it to your back, Amon Green. He takes it down the field and gets to the corner with his speed. As soon as he turns the corner, it's difficult to catch him. The defense finally catches up to him. But this play set up last week, and it's perfectly because the defense thinks it's going to Rossum right there. They go to Rossum. All of a sudden, Amon Green keeps the ball, fouls his blockers, and uses his speed. Once he gets to the edge, it's just a running game right now.
Longest run of the season for Rossum, 36 yards. Damon Parker gets the call, taking it straight up the middle for 2. Josh Williams with a stop on that Indianapolis defensive line. Let's get an NFL Today update as we head to New York and Jim Nantz.
And the opening drive of the day for the Buffalo Bills with Rob Johnson at quarterback instead of Flutie. 71 yards he takes him, hooks up for a score with Eric Moulds. Let's go back to Ian and Mark.
Well, that quarterback controversy in Buffalo continues. No quarterback controversies with Green Bay and Indianapolis. Two of the best in the NFL. Brett Favre and Peyton Manning. Right now it's Green Bay on the move with under 3.5 remaining in the first. Tyrone Davis, the man in motion. Here's Favre on 2nd and 8. Floats it to the outside, and a big stick there as Jeff Burris leveled Damon Parker. Modest gain of a yard, and Burris was ready.
That's one of those plays you want to look at Brett Favre. If you're the receiver coming out of the backfield, Damon Parker, why are you doing this to me? Here I'm open, but there's no way. You're going to see the defensive back break as soon as the ball's thrown, and that's an excellent one-on-one tackle by Jeff Burris in the open field.
Amon Green returns. Burris, who at 6 foot, listed at 6 foot, is the bigger of the two cornerbacks. Tyrone Poole at 5'8". Antonio Freeman told us that Poole's kind of like a little gnat.
He is, and the thing about it, he meant it in a respectful way.
Yes.
You know, he's just always there. You push him around and he still comes back.
On 3rd and 7, incomplete. Donald Driver, the intended receiver, and Packers fans wanted a penalty. David Macklin had the coverage on the outside.
And Green Bay wants to use the height of their receivers. That's where they feel there's a mismatch. This is a ball that should be caught. And I think that's perfect timing. And if you look at that, just before the ball's there, David Macklin gets there, and it's almost simultaneously. I think that's a good call by the officiating crew.
Ryan Longwell, who has currently taken over the title of most accurate kicker of all time, 87% in his career. This is a 42-yard field goal attempt. Longwell, it's good. And the Packers now with a 5-0 lead on Indianapolis late in the first quarter. Our coverage from Green Bay, Wisconsin will continue. Lambeau Field, it's snowing just the way they like it here in Green Bay. 5-0, Pack.
Now this is the fear snake, the most venomous snake in the world. One bite from him and it's all over. Yo! Oh, no worries, mate. Luckily, we've had the anti-venom sent from America via FedEx. In my line of work, if you're not absolutely sure, you're absolutely dead. Oh, crikey. It appears we've used a different courier who hasn't arrived yet. It's okay because...
Our first lesson this morning will be the sit and stay command. And say sit, stay, sit, stay, sit,
stay. This dog's in big trouble.
Buy online, return to the store.
No problem.
BestBuy.com. It wasn't that easy.
The college football Thanksgiving weekend starts on Friday. And Saturday it's doubleheader action as Georgia Tech takes on Georgia and Boston College meets Miami. It's all on CBS.
Green Bay in front with 2:33 to play in the first quarter. Long run by Amon Green, setting up a field goal from Ryan Longwell. And Longwell will now kick it off to Indianapolis, yet to get their offense going here in the first. Wilkins and Peyton are deep. This will be Wilkins. Little stop and go for Wilkins. Tripped up, went to one knee, and brought down at the 25. Charles Lee with the coverage on special teams. A 20-yard return. Indianapolis offense for Peyton Manning. Peyton's protectors, if you will, on that offensive line. They've allowed only 10 sacks this year. That's the second lowest total in the NFL, next to the New York Jets, Glenn McKinney, Saturday Moore, and Meadows. And the backs and receivers, Edgerrin James, currently the leading rusher in the NFL. James, 1,120 yards. Harrison, Jerome Payton getting the start at wide receiver. Terrence Wilkins has been benched. We'll see him in 3 and 4 wide receiver sets. And a 1st and 10 line of scrimmage is the 24. Play action. Manning throws the deep ball over the middle and incomplete. It was Payton, the intended receiver, but it was off to the side of the third-year pro from Washington.
This is a pretty post route by Peyton. Going in motion, Peyton plants, and watch this, he's wide open. Peyton Manning generally never misses this throw. Right between the hash marks, ball's thrown behind him. If that ball's thrown on time, he's off to the races.
Now a 2nd and 10 from the 24. James by himself in the backfield. He'll get the carry. On the draw play, Edgerrin James, a warm weather player his whole life. And he's swirled down at the 40-yard line. By far the most productive play we've seen from this Indy offense. 16 yards, Darren Sharper the stop. Green Bay defense, Cledius Hunt getting the start at defensive end. Vonnie Holliday, though, is active. Linebackers, Nate Wayne has done a solid job filling in for the injured Brian Williams. Katie Williams getting the start today. And you see the secondary with Williams, Sharper, Butler, and McBride in for the injured Mike McKenzie. Here's Manning, a long count on a 1st and 10 from the 40. James trying the other side now, and James is bottled up as he picks up just shy of 5 yards. Nate Wayne will be given credit for the stop along with Russell Maryland.
And I believe they need more of this on 1st down. Give the ball to Edgerrin James. They've been going with too much play-action pass right off the bat. I believe you have to establish the run first, then go to the play-action pass, because you get the linebackers to cheat up a step. You'll also get the corner to cheat up a step. But you got to give the ball to Edgerrin James. Let him establish the running attack first.
Now a 2nd and 6. Manning straight back, throwing on a slant, and incomplete. Cledius Hunt getting a piece of it at the line of scrimmage. And how much is this weather hampering a Peyton Manning right now? This is something he's not accustomed to either. Earlier today, Manning came out right around 10:30 local time here in the Midwest, just to test out the field, do some stretching exercises. And little did he know, on the first play from scrimmage, wouldn't even be able to grip the football, a safety. 1 minute left, first quarter. Manning changing the play, will now operate out of the shotgun. On a 3rd and 6, Manning stepping up, throwing, and complete to Dilger. 1st down for Indianapolis at the Green Bay 45, a gain of 11. Todd McBride with Sharper to make the stop on Dilger.
Nine, a lot of teams aren't very efficient in the no-huddle offense. They have problems with it because you can either create a rhythm for your offense or you won't get in rhythm offensively. And right now, Indianapolis, they've been very, very good at it this year, and they're just trying to find their stride in this game.
Jim Mora told us, bottom line, you have to have the type of quarterback that can handle it. On the handoff, Edgerrin James is spilled out by Leroy Butler, and it's a loss of 2 on the play. Butler still making plays in his 11th year at Florida State.
And Leroy Butler, he smells this right. He's close to the line of scrimmage. He's walking up, cheating up. All of a sudden, he sees the ball tossed out to Edgerrin James. He's going to attack the line of scrimmage. He wants to make something happen. And I think defensively, they're starting to get a feel. Indianapolis on 1st down, going to Edgerrin James.
Time trickling away here in the 1st quarter, and that will do it. End of 1 at Lambeau. Green Bay with a 5-0 lead over Indianapolis. We'll come back to Green Bay, Wisconsin, famed Lambeau Field right after this message. The NFL on CBS.
Ted, Jerry.
Put your resume on Monster.com and see the kind of attention you get.
Levi's Cords.
So I can order HBO, right?
Yes, sir. Actually, 7 of them.
So it's got a pretty clear picture then?
100% digital quality.
Football?
Up to 13 NFL games every Sunday if you want them.
I love you.
I know, sir.
Now get free professional installation when you buy a DirecTV system and sign up for Total Choice programming.
Hi.
Through Wednesday at Zales, save an extra $100 to $500 on selected jewelry, like these $4.99 certified diamond earrings in 18-karat gold for just $3.99. Now through Wednesday at Zales stores nationwide or shop online at Zales.com.
CBS Friday.
I think the killer's killed again.
A serial murderer
This guy's good. Exceptional.
is leaving behind clues.
Somebody's obviously making this personal.
Now, CSI's top investigator
I had him and I let him go!
is in for a surprise.
What about the bottom print?
Came back you.
All new CSI, CBS Friday.
2nd quarter action from Green Bay. Welcome back, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Mark May. 5-0, the Packers leading the Colts. But Indianapolis is on the move. Brett Favre getting the start here after question marks earlier in the week. Vonnie Holliday is taking part in his first play today. He's lining up at defensive end on a 2nd and 12 for Manning. Steps up, good protection, floats it across the middle. E.G. Green is spun down at the 46 by Nate Wayne. Good tackling by Wayne limits him to a gain of 2.
Peyton Manning's personal protectors right in front. They do a great job of sliding down the line of scrimmage. They slide their line of scrimmage, and they play zone from there. But here's the route right here. And watch the official in the middle. He's going to get in the way. They're just going to run through him. E.G. Green, right there, running through. Officials down in the middle. Don't worry about him. Stay with your route. But Nate Wayne has the speed to stay with the wide receivers. That's why they brought him in. Ed Donatello, the defensive coordinator, brought him in from Denver when he came in. He thought he would help this defense. Played right into his hands. He's been a great asset for the defense.
Manning going to the line of scrimmage, instructing his offensive lineman. And he'll change this play out of the shotgun. Manning throwing on 3rd and long. Too high for Green. Incomplete. A near collision with Darren Sharper. Maybe Green heard footsteps. It didn't matter.
Darren Sharper was all over this route, but Peyton Manning, his balls have not been there today. That's a ball that, if you're concentrating on it and ready in the route, E.G. Green should have this ball. Peyton Manning knows that. Right now, they're not in sync offensively. And for Peyton Manning, it could be the weather, it could be for the wide receivers not concentrating enough. But here's the situation for Indianapolis. I think they should go back to their bread and butter offense.
Colts coming up empty once again on the offensive end, and we'll see Hunter Smith. Smith puts it inside the 20, in fact, inside the 15, down at the 13 by Rossum with a fair catch. 33-yard punt. 5-0 Green Bay over Indy.
You could be the best driver on the face of the earth. Hands at 10 and 2, full 2-second stops. You could be a poster child for the Department of Motor Vehicles. But what if everyone else isn't? The mid-size L-Series Performance Sedan.
Today at IBM.com, we're talking about the ThinkPad A20. Huge 15-inch screen, Intel Pentium 3 processor, a video in-out port that makes multimedia easy. These things are selling so fast, I just had Leon order another 1,000.
Okay, wait, 1,000? Chris, didn't you say 1 million? Because that's what I ordered.
Buy one right now and we'll throw in a free digital camera. Please. Size 8?
Last pair.
This is from that guy right over there. Can't blame the guy for trying.
The cold filtered cool of Miller Genuine Draft. Never miss a genuine opportunity.
Every day, he lives by his wits.
I go from job to job. When I run out of money, I eat out of dumpsters.
He's pursued by the law.
We're looking for an escaped convict.
This Friday, Dr. Richard Kimball will be hunted by a hired killer.
What do you want?
You. And you won't believe who's behind it. The Fugitive, all new CBS Friday.
Peyton Manning went to the sideline, put the jacket on immediately here at Lambeau Field. Brett Favre has been going with no jacket on the sideline. He's a little more accustomed to the conditions. And a 1st and 10 at the 13 for Green Bay. Give it to Amon Green, trying to push the pile forward, and he picks up just one as Bernard Whittington is involved in the stop. Well, Brett Favre last week in that loss to Tampa Bay. 3rd quarter action. Take a look at Warren Sapp getting a grab of that left foot of Favre. Favre was forced to leave the game, and Matt Hasselbeck came in to replace him. Hasselbeck, the self-dubbed Mr. August because of all the work that he does in preseason. Says he gets a lot of fan mail. He told us he doesn't get any in the month of November. Handoff, Amon Green again. Trying to run it off tackle, Larry Chester with the stop. And a gain of 3.5 or 4. Hasselbeck, though, we had a chance to speak with him yesterday, handles his backup role very well. He knows playing behind Brett Favre, you're not going to see many reps.
The backup quarterback before he got here was Doug Peterson. When he got here, he said, well, how many snaps have you gotten? How long have you been? I've been here 7 years. Well, how many snaps? 7. 7 snaps? That's it? That's what happens when you play behind a durable quarterback in Brett Favre.
Hasselbeck, though, may get his opportunity down the line, not necessarily in a Green Bay uniform, but his reputation is building throughout the NFL, and I guarantee you there's a team out there that would take a chance on him via free agency down the road. On a 3rd and 6, Colts showing blitz, crowding the line. Here's Favre. Here comes the rush. Favre to Schroeder. And a first down for Green Bay. Veering out of bounds at the 36-yard line. That's a gain of 19. Favre to Schroeder has been the 1-2 punch so far in the passing game.
And the key on this, Brett Favre is able to read the blitz. He sees the blitz in front of him. He knows who the hot man is. It's from inside out. He's going to have the linebacker coming through the middle. It's a timing pattern. Here you're going to see the linebacker flash right there. All of a sudden, Brett Favre knows at that point Mike Peterson's his guy on hot. Get rid of the football. Schroeder reads that. He makes his break. He's covered one-on-one by a linebacker also in Marcus Washington, and that's the mismatch that they want.
On a first down from the 36. Favre, play fake, rush coming. Favre under some heat. Puts it upstairs and hooks up with Franks. Bubba Franks brought down in Colts territory at the 43. 21 yards through the air.
Now, this is a great working relationship, but keep an eye on number 30 right there. Watch him on Green. He's the one that's going to make the play go. A little fake there. All of a sudden, he sees someone coming free right here. Here's the late blitz. Pick it up. It allows Brett Favre to drift out and complete the pass to his big tight end down the field to play.
It was Tyrone Poole who came in as a late rusher on a corner blitz. And you're right. I'm on Green.
That's fun. That's Brett Favre saying, hey, this is what it's about.
You'll see that smile quite a bit. Again, a fake. Up the middle. It's on Green. The speedster taking it down the sideline. And out of bounds at the 18. They have fooled the Colts now twice on that interior fake.
Now, what makes this play go, these guys up here, but also the fake, but watch him on Green. He's going to hit it 100 miles an hour. Great fake by quarterback Brett Favre. Boom, hand the ball off straight ahead. All the defense is over here. They're on the wrong side of the field. Amon Green sees that, takes the ball, cuts to his left, picks up the additional yardage.
Green, 9 carries, 86 yards, and we are early in the second quarter. Green on his way to maybe having a career day. On the pitch, Damon Parker trying to cut it back, and Parker moving in the wrong direction. Stiff arm and forced to the sideline at the 26, and a late flag.
Bernard Holsey. You have to think.
Indianapolis comes up with a big play on the defensive end, but if it's Holsey, it nullifies it.
There is no foul on the play.
Oh.
The runner was not out of bounds when the shove occurred.
Well, let's take another look at that because that's awful close. Because right now the running back's slowing down, believing he's out of bounds. At the end of the play, keep an eye on number 79. Right here, Tyrone Poole has him. Let's keep an eye if he's in or out of bounds. It's very close to the sidelines. No, he's in. Right there. You saw that last step, just barely in. He pushed him when he was out of bounds. Watch the bodies go, but keep an eye on his feet. Right there. Good call by the officiating crew.
So the loss on the play will back it up to the 26-yard line. Holsey just avoiding the penalty.
Another half a step, and that penalty flag sticks.
Clock is moving. 10.5 remaining in the second quarter. Green Bay with a 5-0 lead. On a 2nd and 17. Here's Favre. Stepping up. Throwing to the corner. Caught by Schroeder. Diving for the pylon. Did he get in? No. Favre wants the touchdown. And they'll come up a yard shy. Throwing at Tyrone Poole. Bill Schroeder taking advantage of the size difference.
And the key to this play, it starts up front. The big hoss is up front on the offensive line. Watch the protection. Brett Favre, no one's going to get close. Schroeder on the outside, watch the route. Fake inside, goes back outside, use my height, come down with a reception. Nice ball. Brett Favre puts it exactly where it has to be. Beautiful pass by Favre and reception by Schroeder. And trying to make something out of this right here. He's going to lean. Ooh. That's a touchdown. They got to look at that. That is a touchdown.
All right, now Favre is at the line of scrimmage on a 1st and goal. Favre rolling out, throwing to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Tyrone Davis. Packers extend their lead. Brett Favre, his 13th touchdown of the season. Davis, 2nd receiving touchdown of the year for the 2nd-string tight end.
Nice job by Marco Rivera right there pulling out. Brett Favre sprinting to the right, looking for the opening. All you want to do is find the soft spot, the receiver that's open. That's exactly what he does. Touchdown for the Packers.
Extra point for Ryan Longwell. And the Packers with a 12-0 advantage. 9:45 mark, second quarter. Brett Favre-like conditions, Brett Favre-like results.
To create the most realistic football games means working with the pros. Sometimes that can lead to problems.
Marshall, one fumble clip. Just one.
No, I don't fumble.
Just one time.
No.
I mean, just...
I do not fumble.
Fortunately, we're real problem solvers.
Hey, Marshall!
Rated E for everyone.
PlayStation.
We are no longer the underdog. We're not a small company or a struggling upstart. We're not Davids, they're not Goliaths. You could say we've succeeded, and in doing so, we created something bigger than a car, bigger than a factory, bigger than us. And best of all, we're not done creating.
Announcing a breakthrough in pizza technology, a pizza inside a pizza. To demonstrate how much we can pack inside Pizza Hut's new Insider, we're going to take these 4 giant sumos and pack them inside this photo booth. How cozy. How do we get it all in?
Well, we took one thin crust with 6 cheeses, sealed it with another crust, and even more cheese. And that's the amazing new Insider Pizza, all for just $9.99.
Say cheese.
The Insider Pizza from Pizza Hut, another one of the best pizzas under one roof.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Saturn. Now with 2 distinctively different car lines, the L Series and S Series. The Insider Pizza new from Pizza Hut, another one of the best pizzas under one roof. And by PlayStation 2.
Eight-play, 87-yard drive for the Green Bay Packers, taking up just over 4 minutes of action. Brett Favre on the drive, 4 for 4 for 66 yards, including the touchdown throw to Davis. Here's Wilkins on the return for Indianapolis. Wilkins trying to turn it around the corner, and he cannot. Forced out of bounds at the 24-yard line by Charles Lee, a 15-yard return. Green Bay up 12-0 in the second quarter at Lambeau.
We didn't have to offer side impact airbags on all our new cars. We didn't have to make those airbags the kind that are designed to help protect your head, just like the ones that come in Mercedes and Volvo. We didn't have to. That said, we did.
South to south pit, stroke, check, check.
Samsung joyfully introduces the world as you make it, where our digital technology has one job: to make life more fun. We want to thrill you, connect you, charm you, satisfy you, and delight you.
Everyone's invited
To the Samsung digital experience.
Every touch. A hand. It might seem ordinary, but not when it belongs to someone you love and you'd like to slip something extraordinary onto it.
Every look.
This Christmas, come to K Jewelers, where our diamond and created gemstone rings are just $99.95.
Every kiss.
And every K diamond is hand-selected for exceptional beauty.
Every kiss begins with K.
K Jewelers.
You want me to sing now, dude?
No, not yet.
Imagine me and you thinking about what the... Ready? Oh, boy, we're going to catch flack for this one.
You never know who's gonna show up on the NFL Today. Sundays on CBS.
Brett Favre, growing up in Mississippi, was a huge Archie Manning fan. Told us yesterday Archie was one of his idols, and he knows the Manning name is a pretty good one in the NFL. Peyton, on the other hand, grew up a Brett Favre fan, watching his games at Southern Miss. And then Manning told us when the Packers came into New Orleans a few years ago, Manning was at that game and watched Favre lead them back in the fourth quarter, a rally to win the game. Manning throwing on first down to Jerome Payton and complete to the 41-yard line. Tyrone Williams with the coverage. So far the quarterback comparison, and it's been all Brett Favre in this matchup.
Brett Favre's just a master, loves the weather, and here's somebody that, if he's injured, doesn't matter. He fights through the pain and just puts it to the side and goes out and has fun.
Gave him forward progress to the 44, saying that he was touched there. On the handoff, Edgerrin James. And he is bottled up at the 50-yard line. That's a gain of 6 on first down. Clock is moving here in the second quarter. Look at the numbers so far for Manning and Favre.
Just efficient right there for Brett Favre. He just operates this offense, and when they don't turn the ball over, they're very good offensively.
Favre, no jacket, as mentioned. Temperature right around 27 degrees. The snow has virtually stopped here at Lambeau. On the handoff for James, and the Packers defense was ready. Nate Wayne leading the charge. And a loss of 1 on the play.
And this is a run blitz by Nate Wayne. Watch, he's going to come scooting right there. Nobody sees him. Here it is, one-on-one. No one blocks him. Great job. You see Marcus Pollard out there? That's his responsibility. Marcus Pollard has to get that backside backer. He doesn't get him. Runs through scot-free. One-on-one with Edgerrin James. Nice play by Nate Wayne.
And now a 3rd and 6 for the Colts. Line of scrimmage is the 48. Shotgun for Manning. 3 receivers set with Wilkins checking in as the 3rd wideout. In the pocket, Manning fires up high and incomplete. Nate Wayne getting a hand on it as Manning was trying to attack that secondary. And the Indianapolis Colts will punt it, trailing 12-0.
Keep an eye on the Green Bay front. They're going to run some twists and some stunts up here. But at the end of it, watch them get their hands up. As soon as Peyton Manning's ready to throw the ball, get your hands up in the air, distract them. That's exactly what they do. They make 2 great plays there. One, getting your hand up in front of Peyton Manning's face, and the other one is a linebacker tipping it away in Nate Wayne.
Hunter Smith will punt it. Are you feeling like you've seen this game before somewhere?
A couple of weeks ago, we had the game against Indianapolis and Chicago, and this is how Indianapolis started off. They started off very sluggish on offense, very slow on offense, and got themselves into a hole. They battled back at the end of the game, but not enough to win.
Jim Mora's team fell down 20-0 at halftime, 27-0 early in the 3rd quarter, and then came charging back, and they fell just short in their comeback attempt, 27-24. Penalty, though, against Green Bay. Manning incensed on the sidelines, and Mike Sherman is waiting to hear exactly what happened on that play. Hunter Smith was just waiting for the snap on a 4th and 6. Here's Tom White once again. White wants to find out exactly what the infraction was, and he'll have a conversation with the line judge.
Delay a game. Defense, number 24, attempting to cause a false start on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
It is rare that you see a call like that, and Brett Favre giving you the baloney signal. And now it'll be 4th and 1 for Indianapolis. Hunter Smith remains on the field. Now the Colts did have a fake last week on a field goal attempt, and Smith ran for a 1st down. He'll punt this one. Allen Rossum able to bring it in at the 13-yard line, and that's where the Packers will have it following the 34-yard punt by Smith. Peyton Manning just trying to figure things out so far in Green Bay.
Shannonshire, please, has always talking trash.
You're paying, baby!
He's always trying to get inside your head.
Seahorn, you don't know your elbows from your...
And sometimes, he can get downright nasty.
I bet you pay transaction fees on your mutual funds. Your mama pays full commission. You know how to calculate a PE ratio?
Want to learn about smarter investing?
How diversified is your portfolio? You can't even spell Dow Jones.
Visit us at schwabwelcome.com, where every investor is welcome.
PE ratio, you divide the stock price.
Bolla Wines of Italy. Open up.
Think they're close? Look at that shave. That's total closeness. From the new Remington TCT with total closeness technology. It shaves even the toughest spots, like your neck, totally close. Total closeness or your money back.
Can I have my face back now?
This new car was going to be different from anything Saturn ever built. It was going to be bigger, more powerful, more luxurious, more everything. And while creating an entirely separate plant may not have been absolutely necessary, it was the right thing to do. Welcome to the factory, the Saturn L Series build.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Charles Schwab. When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we also created a smarter kind of investor. And by Bola Wines of Italy. Open up.
Titletown, USA, first visit to Green Bay for Indianapolis since 1988. The Colts won that matchup 20-13. In fact, they've won 3 of the last 4 in the series. From the 13-yard line, handoff to Amon Green, and he is stopped after a gain of 1. Just about everybody involved defensively for Indianapolis. Right now, let's head to New York. NFL Today update and Jim Nantz.
All right, Ian, watch the wizardry here of Rich Gannon scrambling away from traffic and hitting Andre Rison for a touchdown. But a note on this game, Jeff Blake out with a fractured and dislocated foot. Looks like his season is over. Former Packer quarterback Aaron Brooks is now the Saints QB. Let's go back to Ian and Mark.
Wow. Back-to-back weeks, Ricky Williams and Jeff Blake. Such promise shown by this New Orleans Saints team under first-year head coach Jim Haslam.
They've got a tough schedule coming up. They've got St. Louis and Denver, so it's going to be difficult for the New Orleans Saints to get to the playoffs, I believe, at this point with those 2 injuries.
Long ball, Favre throwing it out on 2nd and 9. Donald Driver and a flag down. The former track star Driver working that left sideline. And yep, it will be against Indy.
They are taking their shots at Tyrone Poole in this game. Doesn't matter who's over there, they're working that side of the field against Tyrone Poole, and it's against Tyrone Poole.
Former Carolina Panther knows a little bit about Favre. He's had matchups in the past.
Pass interference, number 38, defense, that's a first down.
And that's a 33-yard penalty.
And we'll take a look at this. And on the outside, obviously, here's Driver, here's Poole. Watch the hands of Tyrone Poole. At that point, he's fine. As soon as you go by there, the grab right there, that's it. That's where the infraction occurs. He doesn't take his hands off him. And that's a good call by the officiating crew.
On first down, trying to pick his way up the middle, Damon Parker. And no room to work with. About a gain of 2. Now, the reason that Driver continues to see action is the injury to Corey Bradford, out with a leg injury. And Bradford has seen sporadic duty so far this season, was injured during the preseason, so Green Bay has been forced to mix and match. Hey, Packers have dealt with a lot of injuries, but Mike Sherman yesterday told us, no excuses. We're better than what our record is. We should be better than 4-6.
And I love that as an ex-player, hearing that out of a head coach. Don't use excuses. Don't use injuries as an excuse to, hey, we lost because of injuries. Forget that. You've got backups. That's why they're being paid.
Off play action, Favre. Deep ball thrown again into triple coverage and incomplete. Bill Schroeder was there. And the clock stops with 6:03 to play in the first half. It'll be 3rd and 8.
And you talk about confidence in your receivers. This is confidence. Thrown into triple coverage right here to Schroeder. Bill Schroeder almost comes down with it, but that's Brett Favre having confidence in his receiver, and he's trying to force it. Here, use the body English. Turn, twist, get it in there, catch it. It's in your hands. Oh.
Bill Schroeder has been the go-to guy so far. 5 catches, 81 yards. Antonio Freeman has been shut out. Favre with receptions to 5 different receivers so far, but no Freeman. And now a 3rd and 8. Three receivers set. Line of scrimmage, the 49. Here's Favre. Flushed out. Favre throwing on the run. And complete to Driver. Sliding grab at the 28-yard line. Chad Bratsky provided the heat on Brett Favre, forcing him to the outside. 24 yards through the air.
This is a pretty route by Donald Driver. Just goes in, curls back to the outside. There's the ball, there's the catch. But Brett Favre, I still think he's the best when he's under duress. When he's getting pressure and he's being forced out of the pocket, even with the injured foot, as long as he's going to his right, he's been very efficient.
And now the Packers have it at the Indy 28. Amon Green by himself in the backfield. Packers scored a touchdown when the drive started from the 13-yard line last possession. This drive starts from the 13 again. And Green gets the call for a gain of 4 straight ahead. Jason Belzer with the tackle. Clock continues to roll, coming up on 5 minutes to play first half.
Amon Green showed me something on that play. One-on-one with a big defender, lowered his shoulder, and he gave him the punishment. He didn't exhort. And that's what really shows me something about a smaller back that really making his name now with the Green Bay Packers. And, you know, he's on his way to becoming the first Packer 100-yard rusher of the season.
11 carries, 91 yards. And now a 2nd and 6. Favre checks off at the line of scrimmage. Handoff. Green keeps the legs moving as he takes it just shy of the 15-yard line. Marco Rivera, a 5th-year pro out of Penn State, with a beautiful block up front and a gain of 7. First down, Green Bay.
And another thing, that the improvement of Amon Green, when we saw him in Seattle before, he wasn't the type of rusher that would try to run over someone. He'd try to use his speed and run away from it. Now he's playing smarter.
He's comfortable in this offense. He grew up a big San Francisco 49er fan, so he was familiar with the West Coast offense and the role of Roger Craig.
He said he could almost recite Roger Craig's stats. He knew 1,000-yard rushing, 1,000-yard receiving. Tom Rathman, big guy in the middle that would make the blocks for the running back Roger Craig. And, you know, here's a guy that, you know, just smart, watching football on television, picking things up his help.
On first down, Favre makes the connection to Freeman, turns it upfield, and spins his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Green Bay. Back-to-back long drives for the Packers. And the Indy hole is getting deeper and deeper. Green Bay an extra point away from a 19-0 lead.
And you said it before, thus far, Antonio Freeman's been shut out. But it was just a matter of time that he worked the interior of the field. And this is an area that he loves. He likes the dirty work. He likes to push people around and create seams and find an opening and get the ball and run over somebody, and that's exactly what he did on the touchdown.
Ryan Longwell boots it through, and that's the exact type of route that Antonio Freeman was telling us about yesterday that he will thrive in.
And if your quarterback's this clean and can stay in the pocket and stand tall, and you can wait out the route, and this wasn't his first primary receiver. Antonio Freeman was his 3rd look-off on this play, but he cleans it out underneath. The underneath drag, he's wide open. Brett Favre pumps it, looks deep. Okay, I've got my guy going across, dump it off to Antonio Freeman. Now it's just Freeman getting in the end zone. Makes a plant, falls into the end zone. And Brett Favre, this is fun. He loves this stuff. Hurt, it doesn't matter. Hey, I'm hurt, I'm gipping around out here, but yeah, touchdown. That's what you love to see. Guys out there having fun, playing in the elements, cold. He's trying to run on that foot, but doesn't look smooth. He's not going to win a 100-yard dash, but that's exciting. That's what it's about.
Well, one thing Antonio Freeman mentioned to us, this team has not been able to knock out the opposition throughout the season. They've played in a lot of close games this year. In fact, 8 of their 10 games this season, Green Bay has had the ball late in the game with a chance to tie or take the lead. They are 3-5 in those 8 games. Normally, Favre and the Packers are better in those situations.
They've got to become better finishers. And another key, they go play Miami up 17-0 and blow that lead. So this is something they can build, and I guarantee Mike Sherman's telling his players on the sidelines, keep going.
Wilkins from the 9 after the Longwell kick. Wilkins. And he tiptoes his way out to the 27-yard line. Mike Morton with a stop on special teams, an 18-yard return. Coming up Monday on CBS, when Florence Henderson cooks Thanksgiving dinner for the King of Queens, let me tell you, this is not the Brady Bunch. Kevin James stars in an all-new King of Queens. It's Monday on CBS. The Indianapolis Colts, an important game for them. 1 game behind Miami in the AFC East. Again, the AFC East, the most competitive division in the National Football League. 19-0, Packers lead it. Under 4 minutes to play, second quarter. Manning, quick throw, knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Steve Warren, the nose tackle.
I mentioned it before. If the defensive linemen, they're very well coached in this defense. If you can't get to Peyton Manning, which many teams can't, put your hands up. When it looks like he's going to throw, put those hands up to try to knock the ball down. Steve Warren does that. And Peyton Manning sacked only 10 times this year. They realize they're not going to get to him, so put the hands up to try to knock the balls down.
No huddle offense again. Waverly Jackson has stepped in at right tackle for Adam Meadows. Handed off. Edgerrin James has been quiet. Has a lane, and James crosses the 40-yard line. A good gainer on second down. 16 yards off the acceleration. And Ken Dilger, the tight end, with a little extra block up front.
And I'll tell you what, on the outside, that's a phenomenal job of Tarek Glenn getting his block and holding on to it, sealing the inside off on theory. And the tight end, Ken Dilger, going out head-to-head on a linebacker and keeping and sustaining his block, allowing Edgerrin James to get through the crease.
Quick to the line of scrimmage once again for Manning. Now checking off an audible at the line of scrimmage. Manning will drift back. Make sure that James knows the play. Has plenty of time on the play clock. Handed off, Edgerrin James. And James again finds a crease. as he makes his way into Green Bay territory, crossing midfield for a gain of 9. Antoine Edwards cut him down low to make the stop.
And Adrian James, he's just slithery. It's like a powerful eel. The first guy's not going to tackle him. He's going to find a way to shed that first tackler and get to the next level.
8 carries, 49 yards for the powerful eel. Never seen a powerful eel, so I have no frame of reference. I'm just going to take your word for it.
Oh, they're out there.
Second and 1. Handoff, James again, and bulls his way forward for a first down. Indianapolis will move the chains. Nate Wayne with a stop and a 2-yard gain. 2:22 and counting left in the first half. James, when he goes over 100 yards, Colts have been very successful, and why not? Usually means they've established the run. Colts are 14-1 when he goes over that 100-yard plateau in his career. 5-0 here in the 2000 season. Now a 1st and 10 at the 45. Manning wants to throw it. Pump fake, and he's sacked. John Theory. 4.5 sacks on the season for Theory, the former Brown and the former Bear. And a loss of 3 if we hit the 2-minute warning. 19-0. Green Bay leading the Colts at Lambeau.
You could grab an off-the-shelf computer for someone you love this holiday, or give them a computer that's built uniquely for them. A truly personal computer that's been turned into a music machine, or movie theater, or photo gallery, with training classes so they can get the most out of it. We think you can spot the better gift. Start with a fully loaded gateway for less than $23 a month, including a year of America Online. Call 1-800-GATEWAY, where people rule.
Zone 2, ready? Cut!
Pay with the American Express card. Score double Club Ramada points and your shot at a free Ramada getaway for 2, including airfare. For reservations, log on to Ramada.com or call 1-800-2-RAMADA.
You know me? Probably not. In my daily life, I like to be recognized. Hi. When I shop on the internet, I prefer a little privacy, which is why I use the American Express card. With private payments, I get the security of a unique number created for each purchase I make. It's just one of the ways American Express helps me protect my identity online. And soon they'll even help me surf the net anonymously, giving me the recognition I'm looking for. None. American Express. Don't leave home pages without it.
This week, Dave's all new with Faith Hill, Carrie Russell, Supermodel Giselle, Matthew Broderick, Richard Simmons, and Stupid Human Tricks. Monday, don't miss Susan Sarandon.
Don't forget, coming up, the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Join Jim, Mike, and Randy for all the scores and highlights, plus all the latest NFL news. That's coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Indianapolis Colts have been very successful on the road of late. They've won 9 of their last 13 away from the RCA Dome. And right now, they're trailing 19-0 and facing a 2nd and 13. Pump fake. Manning, sideline route. Catch made. Was he in bounds? No. And where has Marvin Harrison been today? That's the first time I've called his name on the offensive end.
And not only today, the last 2 games, only 10 receptions, 76 yards and a TD after starting off the season, lighting the league on fire. And, here's one of those passes. If he controls his body weight a little bit more and watches where his feet are, he should be in bounds, but he isn't.
Harrison out of bounds, over 100 yards receiving in 7 of 10 games this year, but at one point it was 7 of 8. The last 2 that you mentioned, well under 100.
And teams could not stop him. They couldn't stop the Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison connection, but the last few weeks they figured out a way. They get physical with Marvin Harrison at the line.
On a 3rd and 13, are they going to take a look at this? A review situation with under 2 minutes left, not a coach's review. They'll take a look upstairs. An official review just to make sure Marvin Harrison didn't get both feet in bounds. Green Bay 19, Indianapolis nothing, a minute 54 left. First half.
We'll take another look at it. Keep an eye on his feet. All right, that's so close to tell from this angle. If his foot's touching the line, incomplete.
May have been airborne as he brought the football in. That's tough. You know, at that angle right there, he looks inbounds.
Yeah, it's a left foot. Did he have possession at that point?
That's the question.
And we're both feet in bounds.
Might be inconclusive, which would mean that it'll go down as an incompletion. And Tom White taking a look at it. Actually, a chance to warm himself up underneath there.
I think he was happy with that. We get a couple more of those in the second half. He's probably telling upstairs, now if it gets inside 2 minutes, you have the power to bring me over and warm me up.
We are in a review situation with 1:54 left, second quarter. Marvin Harrison with a catch on the sideline, and the question whether or not he had his feet inbounds and had possession simultaneously.
And it's his left foot. He plants it right there. If it's on the line, does he have possession now? Or is that foot in bounds? This one right here. Not this one, this one.
Looks like a catch to me.
Yeah, and this is the one. This is the look that you need to see right here. Look at his left foot. Now right there, he can see exactly where that foot is. If that foot's touching the line, not a catch.
It would be a 3rd and 1. That was a gain of 9. If it's incomplete, it's 3rd and 13. And the line of scrimmage is the Green Bay 48. So the play under review. Colts lead the all-time series with a record of 19-18-1. And a wild game a few years ago, 1998, or I should say 97, November. Colts were 0-10. The Packers were 8-2. And Indianapolis pulled off the upset of the season, defeating the Green Bay Packers in a shootout. I believe it was 41-38, if I remember correctly, at the RCA Dome. Well, Tom White has seen enough looks at it.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. This is an incomplete pass.
Yep.
Nicely done, incomplete.
Goes down as incomplete. And Marvin Harrison.
You have to wonder what he's thinking, what's in his mind. Here's the guy that no one could stop him at the beginning of the season. Last couple of weeks, he just can't generate any offense for the Colts.
Well, now a 3rd and 13 after the review. Manning again, barking out instructions to his offensive linemen and his fellow skill position players. Out of the shotgun. On a 3rd down. Manning forced out of the pocket. Manning throwing. Up high and kicked off. Todd McBride. McBride getting the start for the injured Mike McKenzie. And McBride has his first interception of the season. David Bowens applied the pressure in the backfield. And the Colts turn it over for the 2nd time today.
And for Peyton Manning, he's directing the signals in his protection up front, so everyone knows who they're supposed to block, but it's just a great rush by Bowens on the outside, one-on-one over Waverly Jackson. He just beats him to the outside and puts pressure on Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning gets dumped at the end of the play. He's running for his life, trying to create something, and it's just pressure on Peyton Manning. He can't put the ball where he wants to, but a nice defensive play by Todd McBride. Breaking on the ball, turning right there, putting himself between the ball and the wide receiver and making a play.
And the way Green Bay has been moving the football of late, with a 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line, 1:46 left, and 3 timeouts remaining. 19-0 may not be the score as we hit halftime. On the draw play, Amon Green trying to cut it to the outside and then double team there by Mike Peterson and Tyrone Poole. Amon Green, 13 carries, 104 yards, and the first time this season a Packer running back has gone over 100 yards.
We're not at halftime. That's amazing. The offensive line is doing an incredible job up front of creating seams for Amon Green.
Favre on the flip for Franks. First down, Green Bay at the 49-yard line. Mike Peterson with the tackle and a timeout taken. Clock stops, 1:15 to play in the 2nd quarter. Going on the clock here in the 2nd quarter. So many concerns about the injuries. We've seen very little signs of it today. Halftime report coming up, NASDAQ.com. Jim, Mike, Randy. We'll have all the scores and highlights and the latest NFL news coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. 1st and 10 now from the Green Bay 49. Amon Green runs into a crowd and he picks up 1, maybe a yard and a half. Mark Thomas wraps him up as he hits midfield. How about Favre today, Mark, the way that he's handled this Indianapolis defense?
He's been a master, and he's in total control of this defense. He's dictating to the Indianapolis defense. That's exactly where a quarterback wants to be.
Good throw to Schroeder, and Bill Schroeder trying to break free. Brought down from behind inside the 20. And Schroeder, 48 seconds remaining, first half. 1st and 10 at the Indy 18. Freeman in motion. Favre wants to put it in the air. Sidearm delivery, and the catch made by Green. Cornelius Bennett with a stop, and Brett Favre again had too much time to work with if you're the Indianapolis defense.
And if the Colts are going to play soft in the prefense and only rush 3, Brett Favre will find a way to get rid of the ball and pick you apart.
On 2nd and 8, Favre steps up and throws underneath to Schroeder. Loses the football, but the Packers able to jump on it. Amon Green, they'll rule it incomplete.
It's incomplete, but look at that. 3 green. Now this team better feel like that. You know, they want to get back to the Packers of old. In the middle of the 90s, the late 90s, they were the dominant team.
21 seconds left in the half. Favre on 3rd down to the end zone. Flag down. Schroeder with seconds remaining in a 1st and 10 at the 11th. 3 receiver look. Favre stepped up and throws it away. Amon Green, the running back in the area, but Favre knew he was in some trouble, and now only 12 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter. Josh Williams among those Colts defenders applying some pressure. Packers still have the 1 timeout to work with. And now a 2nd and 10.
And in this play, what the Packers want, they want a quick play because they want to take a chance on that 3rd down play, but they want a real quick play right here. Hit a quick slant, quick fade, get rid of the ball in a hurry so you can only use maybe 4 seconds off the clock.
Clock management so important now for Mike Sherman and company. 12 seconds remaining. Green Bay with a 19-0 lead. On 2nd down, Favre steps up, sidearm delivery. Amon Green accelerating to the goal line. Did he get in? Packers say touchdown, and time has run out. Time has run out unless they give Green Bay the timeout with 1 second remaining. Now they're motioning for the timeout. Packers players were worried about whether or not Green got into the end zone. And the officials will huddle up. Will they put a second on the clock? Colts are walking off the field.
Well, that's smart, because I can tell you, right now, the head coach of the Colts, Jim Moore, is saying, get off the field, get off the field. Maybe we'll put pressure on them. They won't make this call because in his mind, it's over. He looks at the clock, 0-0-0, it's over.
On that second effort by Amon Green, just trying to extend his body.
The time expired before the end of the play, the timeout.
4 o'clock management.
That's costly. Amon Green remained on his feet.
Timeout. We're reviewing the ruling on the field.
Tom White saying they are going to review it. I don't know if he's getting these players back on the field now. Packers fans are beginning to cheer as the Colts player began to make their way down the tunnel area.
Now see, this is poor communication between upstairs and downstairs on the field with the officials. They need to know before they say it's over and wave the field, the teams off the field where they go in the
have the capability of coming from behind.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The runner's knee was down before he reached the goal line. That is the end of the first half, and there's no score.
Well, there is a score. There's just no score on that play. 19-0, Packers leading the Colts. End of the first half from Lambeau. Coming up, Jim Nantz in the studio for the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Hope you'll stay tuned for that after this message and a word from your local station.